Hey Central Virginia, are you wondering what or even who you can believe about the housing market? We'll cover that today on your March 2023 Housing Market Update. What is going on, party people? Thank you for tuning in. In this video, we're going to break down for you what is happening both in the national and local housing market current to this month, March of 2023. Before we get into it, if you would like, subscribe, give me a heart, give me a thumbs up if you like this content. And if you have a question that we don't cover throughout this video, be sure to leave a comment below or shoot me a direct message. Now let's get into it. All right, so I started off writing this content, doing just a little Google search on the current state of the housing market. I just literally typed into Google housing market 2023, and here's what came up. So Forbes, are home prices finally affordable? CNBC, why the housing market is increasingly big trouble. Very sensational. Fox Business, if you don't believe in NBC. The U.S. real estate market is in big trouble. Expert warns. Oh my goodness, we've got some scary headlines. So that's what the news is saying. If you're one of these newfangled youngsters, as the kids call it, and you search your YouTube, I did the same search for on YouTube, and we had a couple titles that came up. We had Why You'll Regret Buying a Home in 2023 from the Graham Stephan. The housing market will be a complete ghost town come spring. Is the 2023 housing market crash around the corner? So we've got some very sensational headlines. If you are looking on the YouTubes, looking on the socials, looking at the news, you would believe that the housing market is about to crater. But you know what though? We've got a pretty smart audience. So some of you smarty pants fancy people out there are like, hey Chris, I don't buy into the hyperbole. I don't buy into the sensational headlines. I look at the national stats put out by very credible organizations like the National Association of Realtors, or maybe even Richmond's very own Keeping Current Matters, who I'm a huge fan of. So KCM recently put out a graphic in their monthly market update that says that due to the current rate environment, we are seeing low to weak buyer demand. National Association of Realtors puts the month supply of inventory for the national housing market between 2 to 3 months supply of inventory, which basically means that the rate at which homes are selling currently, if nothing new were to hit the market, it would take 2 to 3 months to sell out the current inventory. Very much above kind of what we saw on a national scale, where we were, right around 1 month supply of inventory, even sub 1 month supply of inventory on a national scale for the housing market. So here's the dealio, guys. I would submit to you, instead of paying attention to the national news, whatever they're putting out to sell advertisements, even more so better than looking at what we're seeing on a national scale, I would recommend we look at the numbers of what we're actually seeing in Central Virginia, which if you're watching this video, that more than likely affects you more than anything. All right, so Zillow actually recently put out a study, and I share that first because everybody believes Zillow over your local real estate professional. But Zillow recently put out their home value index, and Metro Richmond, Virginia came in second, the second highest market in the country that they study. I think we were just, number one was Miami, but Richmond came in number 2. If we look at the statistics from the Central Virginia MLS, so these are the statistics that are put out by our local multiple listing service, the median sales price, while it's down from what it was, in the summer of last year, and that's a normal cycle that happens every single year, we are still up 6.3% from where we were this time last year, so 6.3% year-over-year appreciation. The median days on market is 8 days. I'll repeat that. The median days on market is 8 days. So on median, which is not on average, paid attention in math class, on median, your median homeowner that's putting their home on the market in Central Virginia in the month of March is selling that home, is going under contract in just 8 short days. The month supply of inventory is 0.6 months supply of inventory. Once again, we talk about it every single video. I will continue to talk about it every single video. 6 months supply of inventory is considered a neutral market. Anything above that is a buyer's market. Anything below that is a seller's market. We are currently at 0.6 months supply of inventory. At the height of the market, we were at 0.4 months supply of inventory. We are currently at 0.6 months supply of inventory. And then last but not least, the median percentage of list price, how much homeowners are getting of their list price. Yes, while it is down from 107%, boo-hoo, Central Virginia home sellers are only getting 100% of their asking price on median in the month of March 2023. So there you guys have it. That is the actual data. That is the actual news. So that may leave you asking the question, how is this possible? Why is this? What are the factors that are contributing to this? And that's a question that I get a lot when I'm sitting down in somebody's living room like I'm doing as I'm shooting this video. So here's the big one to consider. We are cheap compared to our feeder markets. So there's a very cool website out there called How Money Walks. This is a website that tracks local municipal tax revenue, county tax revenue, to translate that into Central Virginia terms of how much are these local counties bringing in tax revenue, and then where does that money go when it leaves an area. Very fascinating website. You can go there and check it out. HowMoneyWalks.com, I believe, is the website. If you Google that, it'll show up. But if you look on that, you can see that the majority of folks that are moving into our area, they're either local moves or they're coming in from either the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, or they're coming in from Northern Virginia. And if you think about Central Virginia compared to those markets, we are absolutely a steal. We are a deal compared to the home prices in those markets, and especially folks coming from the tri-state area. Not only are they buying cheaper real estate when they move here to Metro Richmond, they're getting away from a rather oppressive tax system where they are being taxed upwards of 5% of their home value every single year, whereas in Central Virginia, we're usually around 1% of our home's value is what we're being taxed. So if you find yourself complaining about your recent county assessment, definitely ask your friends from the Northeast what they are paying, and I promise you, you'll be pleasantly surprised. All right, so that's kind of what's affecting our local market. There's also some problems that are happening nationally. They're affecting not only us in Central Virginia, but also folks all around the United States. So if we look at the graphic over my shoulder, you will see that over the last 14 years, we have underbuilt new construction homes. We've been below the 50-year average for new construction for the last 14 years. A lot of this was basically after 2008. A lot of folks that were in the trades got out of the trades, construction trades, and therefore home builders have literally not been able to staff their jobs enough to keep up with the demand. Yes, we're getting back to that 50-year average, but we have that huge deficit of homes basically from 2008 all the way to 2017, 18, where we finally started catching up, and we simply don't have enough new construction homes. We've also got a bunch of homeowners locked in now to 3% interest rates, sometimes sub 3% interest rates. So if you think about it, if you've got a homeowner, for them to sell, they're going to really have to want to sell or need to sell to walk away from a very attractive interest rate that could very well never be coming back again in our lifetime. And then last but not least, kind of piggybacking off of that, you've got a lot of homeowners that are either going to be buying up, buying down, buying sideways. They're going to be buying their next property when they sell their current property. And a lot of those folks are hesitant to put their homes on the market because they're not quite sure where they're going to be going because there is low inventory. So it's kind of this perpetuating downward spiral type problem where, hey, I don't want to sell because I don't know where I'm going to buy. And then there's other people that don't want to sell because they don't know where they're going to buy. And it just kind of, the cycle keeps going. So what does all this information mean to you? So we're going to break it down real quick. As always, we're going to give 3 tips to our sellers. We're going to give 3 tips to our buyers out there. If you are selling, it takes longer than you think to get yourself ready. And if you're somebody that's sitting there watching this saying, yeah, but not my home, usually especially your home, right? You never know how much crap that you have in your house until you have to move it. I promise you, if you've lived in your home for 20, 30 years, you'd be very surprised how much stuff you have stashed away in your attic. If you were looking to sell for a premium price, you're probably going to have to put some work into your property, and it's going to take longer than you probably think it will to get your home ready. So I always encourage folks, have a conversation with a real estate professional. If you're in Central Virginia, we would love the opportunity to chat with you, but have a conversation with a professional as early in the process as possible, so that way you can be getting your home ready and you're not stressing yourself out trying to cram it all into 2 weeks. Secondly, I would ask you, can you buy first? So if you are buying and selling, there's a couple different ways you can do that. Fundamentally, it breaks down to 2 different ways. You either have to sell first and then buy, or you have to buy first and then, or you have the opportunity to buy first and then sell. If it is financially in the cards for you to buy first and then sell, that is a much simpler, easier, less stressful way to do it. Yes, there's the element of risk of, you're selling your home after you've already purchased your second home, but in the environment that we're in right now where homes are selling very quickly, I'm not as nervous about that. I'm more so concerned with that you as a seller are going to have somewhere to move into and to go. And then last but not least, we've already kind of touched on it. If you want premium results when you sell your home, you've got to be able to present a premium product. In other words, if you want to get top dollar for your home, if you want it to sell quickly, if you want to get multiple offers, that's amazing. I want that for you too. But the reality is you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to spend the money for somebody else to put in the work to get your home to that position. So there's probably going to be some painting involved. There's probably going to be some flooring that needs to be touched up. There's probably going to be some decluttering, some staging that needs to be done. But hey, that's okay because we're going after the premium result. If you don't want to do that work, that's completely fine. But then we just need to adjust our expectations down to from premium price. So in other words, if you want six-pack abs, you got to be willing to do the diet and exercise. Sorry to break it to you. All right, so for our buyers out there, unfortunately, Black Friday is not here. If you are somebody that thinks you're going to go step into this housing market and get a home for, 10, 20% off of list price, I hate to break it to you. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's not very likely. You will be looking for a unicorn or a four-leaf clover as we come up on St. Paddy's Day. So just know that going into it, that once again, homes are on median are selling at 100% of the asking price. So if you're out there looking for a steal of a deal, hate to break it to you, you're probably going to be looking for a long time. Secondly, kind of already touch on it, it is getting competitive out there. So one of the things I would recommend doing is sitting down with a real estate professional, find out ahead of time what kind of offer am I going to have to make to get a property under contract, and then you can know what you're signing up for and if that's something you do or don't want to do. But what I wouldn't do is just go out there and start blindly making offers, not really understanding the competitive environment that you're stepping into, not understanding what it's going to take to actually get a property under contract. And then third, last but not least, consider getting a pre-inspection. So we are back into an environment where we're seeing a fair number of buyers that are waiving home inspections to get properties under contract. I'm not saying that's a good idea or that's not a good idea, but it may just be what you have to do to get a property under contract. So one opportunity that you do have is to pay a home inspector to come along to you with the show, or come along with you to the showing. You're going to pay them $200-300 for them to attend that showing for you. But while you're looking at the home, deciding if it's the right home for you and your family, they can be doing the dirty work of looking in the crawl space, looking in the attic, looking around, just make sure that there's no major problems that you need to be aware of. It's not a full-blown inspection, but it is a good idea if you have to waive that home inspection to get a property under contract to at least have had a professional lay eyes on the property. So we hope that made sense. We hope you found value in that. If there's any questions, concerns I didn't address, once again, throw it in the comments, shoot me a DM. Thank you guys for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you on the next video.